Welcome back, Chemistry 30. This is the EQ1 Equilibrium review for the upcoming exam. So there are basically 6 sections. We had the concept of equilibrium, chemical equilibrium. We looked at that in 1.1. Then we looked at the KEQ or KC, EQ 1.2, the equilibrium constant. 1.3, understanding and working with equilibrium constants. Heterogeneous equilibrium. 1.5, the equilibrium constant, calculating it, and Le Chatelier's principle. All right. So the format will be very similar to what we are used to. Multiple choice, 10 questions worth 10 marks, and then kind of problems / short answers, 7 questions worth 32 marks, giving a grand total of 42. To give you an idea of what those short answers will be, number 1 will be simply write the KEQ equation when given the balanced chemical equation for homogeneous equilibrium. So that's pretty easy. If you look back in EQ 1.2, you'll see how to do that. Writing the KEQ equation when given a balanced chemical equation for heterogeneous equilibrium. If you go to 1.4, you'll see how we did that, how we handled that. 1.3, write the KEQ equation and determine its value when given equilibrium concentrations of reactants and products. So given reactants and products equilibrium values, determine KEQ. And then also state whether the reactants or products are favored and state why. So if you go into EQ 1.3, some of the questions we did there, you'll see how to do that. Number 4, calculate the KEQ value and other equilibrium concentrations. So if we have that, use that to figure out an unknown concentration of either a reactant or product. So that was the first part of EQ 1.5. That's when we looked at that. Then the second half of 1.5, given initial concentrations and one equilibrium concentration, determine the value of KEQ with the use of what I like to refer to as an ICE chart. Initial, change, equilibrium. So if you look at that last part of 1.5, you'll see how to do that. It's a fairly big question, that's why it's worth 9 marks. Then number 6, use Le Chatelier's principle when given particular stresses. So I'll give you a question in which you have certain stresses, and you have to figure out what's the reaction, what's the resulting shift, and then what increases or what decreases. So if you look back in EQ 1.6, you'll see how we did that. And then the last question here, discuss ways in which particular shifts can be made can be accomplished by manipulating. So we had 3 stresses we talked about: concentration, so increasing or decreasing the amount of material, increasing pressure, reducing pressure, and also heat. So the question could be, how can you make as much as one item as possible by manipulating concentrations, pressure, and heat? All right. And so again, this is an open book exam, so no rewrites. It will be posted likely tomorrow, and you'll likely have ample time to finish it. Okay. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or wait till I'm on Google Meet and you can ask then. All right, we'll see you again.